opinions expressed in the following program are not necessarily those of Shaw Cable Systems or of the station. Through our access policy, we provide the opportunity for community groups and individuals to express their points of view.
Welcome to the Fourth Line Hockey Show. I'm your host, Willie Plouffe. You know, we have a great show, and I am with my winger again, Gerald Haasbeek. Gerald, how are you today, buddy?
Good, you, Willie?
Good to see you again. Good to be on the set, having some fun with you at World Sports Shop.
Absolutely. We're rocking the Canadian jerseys today, so, you know, we ought to keep it in Canada, right?
Keep it in Canada. You know, the Canucks and the Oilers. You know, the Canucks have a little bit of a hard time going on with the, with the goaltender stuff. What's happening? What do you think about that?
Well, the coach in me says you got to go with the hot hand, but the GM in me says, well, you paid the big money to Schneider, better play him, right?
Some of the, you know what, I wonder who's making that call. The owners are coming down to the manager or bringing some heat down. Do you think that the owners have the opportunity to say to the manager, look, we just signed that big deal with this dude, he better be in net for us?
Well, I think the coach is paid to win games, so it's his call. But when you played professional hockey, Willie, you didn't play.
Yes. That's always, again, Gerald bugging Willie on the set, getting that World Sport. Give me some gears here, Roll. You know what, Beeks? I think it's all good because I do remember sometimes me going by you one-on-one, like taking you outside and beating it to the net. Very easy.
Yeah. Well, I never played old-timers. You're like you. No, I'm just
exactly. Going. Well, today's show is not about hockey. We ventured off and now into Ringette. We've always talked about bringing in different sports, talking about different individuals from different sports. We have a great show dealing with Ringette in Manitoba and a great team like the Magic. You know, I don't know too much about Ringette. Do you know some stuff, Jerry?
Well, I got a bit of a Ringette household. My wife plays Ringette. She has pretty much her entire life. So I've got a bit of background. I know Ringette offers a bunch of different skill sets that hockey players don't really get. We'll learn about that and everything like that. And, you know, it's a full year-round sport just like hockey. You know, as important as hockey to many families in Manitoba. Maybe a lot of you don't know that, but we will get to know how important Ringette is to the community and to the kids that we're going to bring down.
Yeah, you know, that is for sure. We have the coach from the Magic, Kelly Sims. We have two players, you know. I know that they're 13 years old. Like their program runs 14 and under, 12 and 13. Their program's been designed from St. James, NK, all over. Like they have a lot of elite players. It's a AA program, which is equivalent to AAA hockey. So we're going to have in Kenny Van Konitz. If I said it wrong, that's wrong, but you know what? She'll correct me. We have Caitlin Chorney coming in from the squad, the captain and assistant. They've had a big tournament they just competed in, and it's going to be great. When we bring the coach in, we'll talk a little bit about, you know, giving information to the crowd about Ringette, because like I say, I don't know much about it. You've got the household. I do know that they don't have any blades on their sticks. What do you think about that?
Pretty astute, Willie.
That's a very good observation skills. And they don't use a puck, they use a ring, and you know, I don't know if there's offsides or if there's any part of it where you can't be in the net or, you know what, a bit of hooking and slashing. But I tell you something, I wouldn't want to get any girls playing hockey against girls or Ringette against girls hammering them. Like, imagine having a whole group of girls mad at you. That'd be pretty tough, like playing, you know, they take you down pretty hard. And I know they take you down.
Yeah, well, I don't know about that. But, you know, yeah, I definitely think that, you know, Ringette offers a different perspective, different sort of camaraderie, different sort of dressing room than hockey. And I think a lot of, you know, prospective hockey or Ringette players out there are going to gain a lot of knowledge from what they're going to hear here today.
Exactly, and you know, it's just like, you know, exact same thing. The program is where I'm sure they have proper nutrition. I'm sure they, you know, they work out their facilities like just like the hockey people do. All kinds of things. You know, I don't know if you can compare them back and forth, but it's got to be a great sport because a lot of people participated in Manitoba, in Canada, and you know what? And you're on the ice. How much better it is to be on the ice skating and having fun? Either hockey, figure skating, Ringette, any part of it, any team atmosphere, which these kids are part of. And we're going to learn more about that Ringette in Manitoba, and especially the Magic program where, you know, they've just kicked some big butt in a tournament in Calgary. We'll go through the whole thing, the eating, the curfew. I can't wait to hear some stories from the coach.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's going to be a good one.
Well, yeah, I'll tell you something. I know we're going to go on here, and our cameraman, John, I don't know if John's ever played Ringette or other big cameraman, Hampshire. I don't know about those guys because they're big dudes, but we're going to get back here. We're going to go to a commercial break. We're going to come back right after that, bring in Kelly Sims, the head coach from the Magic, get right at it, get looking at it when we get back, Fourth Line Hockey Show.
I touched the ball before it went out, Coach.
Come on, Alex. The ref did not call that. It's a championship game.
I touched it. It's their ball.
Don't foul them when they inbound. Alex. Good call.
Sportsmanship. Pass it on.
Come on, I haven't got all day here. Next! While we're still young. Hey. What? Great sandwich. Thanks.
Compliments. Pass them on.
Welcome back to the Fourth Line Hockey Show after that great commercial break. Gerald, before we went to the break, we talked about the Magic Ringette program. We're going to bring in the coach, Kelly Sims. You know, I bet you got some questions. I've got some questions. And the audience is going to be ready to rock. We're going to give some information about Ringette in Manitoba. Let's bring her in. Come on in, Kelly. Welcome to the Fourth Line Hockey Show.
You.
Well, Kelly, you're the coach of the Magic squad. And, you know, like every other guest we have on, we always go through, like, who is our guest, Joe? Let's find out who this Kelly Sims is. Give us a little bit about Kelly Sims.
Well, Kelly Sims, I've been coaching Ringette for 19 years. This is my 19th season, and I've coached all different age groups, starting right from the little minis, the 4-year-olds, up into the adults, which I still coach today, some of the girls that I coached for a long time. This is my second year with the Magic program, and which is AA, which is the highest level of Ringette in Manitoba. And it's a really great program, and it's a blast coaching these kids.
So the Magic program, do they have different age groups, or just this group here is 12, 13, 14, or what are the age groups for? Do they have like a younger group, like Tidbits hockey, or how does that work with that?
The Magic is strictly a AA program, so the AA starts at the U14, and so the first age group is U14, 12 and 13-year-olds. There's a second age group, which is U16, so 14 and 15, and then the third age group is under 19. Awesome. And so there's 3 different teams in the program.
Sweet. Mm-hmm. Jill, what do you think? I think Kelly's got a little bit. She's a big coach going on here. How many players, Kelly, are on there on the ice at a time? How many players are on the ice, and how many carry on a squad?
Okay, squad can vary, depends on different teams and things like that. Our team has 15 players, including the goaltender. The older levels tend to carry a full 18 on their rosters at the AA level. When you get into the rec leagues and things like that, and the community level leagues, they normally run around 12 or 13 players. It's similar to hockey, 5 skaters on the ice plus the goaltender. Different structure for sure. There's certain zones. Some hockey players may have noticed a strange line at the top of the circles in the offensive or defensive zone, and that is kind of called the Ringette line. And what that means is only 3 players, skaters from either team, can go in that zone at a time.
Maybe for our viewers, a lot who, I think that a lot of Manitobans know Ringette, know the rules, and know what it's about. But maybe for viewers who have never been introduced to Ringette, tell us some of the, the pros of becoming, whether they got a 5-year-old getting started in Ringette. What are some of the benefits that you think Ringette brings to the table?
Ringette was actually designed specifically for females and to get them involved in a team sport. And it's really centered around team play. Every kid on the ice generally gets ring time, or puck time, ring time, and it's very much designed to be a team sport. So you have to pass over both blue lines. So you can't have the one superstar kid going end to end with the ring. You got to pass over both blue lines. So that really helps to encourage team play. They put a big focus on skating in Ringette. A lot of boys that I knew growing up actually started with their sisters when they were young in Ringette and got the skating skills really up to snuff. And a couple kids that I know that played junior, their coaches said, oh, you can see that you used to play Ringette, you've got that really great. We really focus on stride and technique and things like that because it is a really fast game. We play with a shot clock at the higher levels, the little kids don't, but you have 30 seconds to get a shot off, similar to basketball, and so you've got to move when you get possession of the ring.
Now, Willie is not the strongest skater. Would it be okay if he came out for a few practices and you worked on some skating with him?
Yeah, he could come out.
I do need to work on my crossovers. I am known to put the puck in the top shelf. That's all. It could be the Ringette ring. I led some championships. But Kelly, getting back to the on ice, like when the game starts off, is it like a face-off in the middle, like do they have in hockey, or is it like where is it? Is the ring dropped in the middle and bang it goes? And can you tell us a little bit about the offensive zone where? If you're on the attack zone, if you're attacking 3 players, you can't get into that zone, or you have to back off, like you're saying that you can't cross the blue line, and then is that offside considered?
It's not actually called offside. If you want, I'll start at the center ice thing first. And there's not actually face-offs in Ringette.
Yeah, that's a big hammered question. I threw three
Yeah, I know. Hopefully I can remember them all.
That's awesome. Good job.
So there's no such thing as face-offs in Ringette. They call it a free pass or a free play from the circle. So from center ice, there's the dots in either side of the circle, and the ring is placed on the team who starts with possession, normally the visiting team. And they have to pass it outside that circle within 5 seconds to another player on their team. So not so much the face-off. There's no fighting for the ring at that point anyway, and they make the pass, and then the play progresses. As for going into the offensive zone, so you do have to pass over the blue line. So it's very much opposed to hockey, where if you go in before the puck, you're offside. It's the opposite. Somebody has to be over the blue line or be chasing the ring over the blue line.
Okay, now let's flip over to the defensive side now. When you get over to the defensive side, how does that work?
Same sort of thing. So only 3 defenders can be in the zone at one time with the goaltender. They generally play a triangle or an L formation to kind of keep the skaters outside. And the opposite team has 30 seconds from whenever they got possession of the rings to get a shot on net. They call it a reset once if the goaltender makes a stop and it bounces out, or if the goaltender throws it out. So if the same team regains possession, then they have a fresh 30 seconds in that zone.
Yeah, that's pretty intense, Gerald. I don't know if I can handle that.
I think you can pull it off. But Kelly, maybe explain to us that, a potential Ringette career, whether, obviously from the recreational level, from the, 5-year-old right up until the pinnacle of Ringette, which I would assume would be the World Championships and things like that. Explain to us, where you can go with Ringette and all the positive benefits it can give a kid.
Absolutely. It's such a great sport, team sport. You start off rec young, and you progress theoretically into AA. We do have a national Ringette league, which is amazing Ringette. There's one team in Manitoba called the Prairie Fire who plays, and then select few get chosen to be on the Canada teams for the Worlds. One of our coaching staff was on Team Canada West for the recent U19 Worlds, which was very cool. It was held in London, Ontario this year.
That is awesome. We're going to go to a break right now. Before we go to break, we're going to have the Culligan tip of the week. And the Culligan tip of the week is take care of your gear, especially your skates. Make sure that once you finish playing hockey, wherever you're skating, you have a skate rag in there, clean them up, put some skate guards on there. And when we return after that commercial break, we're going to bring in Kelly and Kaylin. We're going to talk about it. Before we go to that, I just got to make sure that playing Ringette and that, I know one of the girls' dads. He was a scrapper kind of bit in hockey, one of the tourneys. So we got to make sure we want to make sure that Caitlin's not following the footsteps of her dad. Right, keeping the gloves on, right?
Keeping the gloves on.
Perfect. We'll be right back at you with the 2 players from the Magic coming at you.
Life is all about chances, made, given, and taken. Chances missed, and chances that change everything. Chances to try, to fail, and then try again. Chances to grow, chances to change, chances to learn, teach, lead. Chances. It's all about what you do with them. Boys and Girls Clubs of Winnipeg. Donate. Check us out. Make the call.
Welcome back to the Fourth Line Hockey Show. I'm here with the 2 Magic players, talking to the coach after. What a great part of that show was Gerald talking all about Ringette, giving us so much information about the program and how long, Coach Kelly's been around. It's been pretty sweet.
Yeah, no, I think the 2 things that I know from Ringette players is, and Kelly really keyed on it, the skating is one thing, and 2, just the camaraderie and the friendship, and the fact that the ring has to be moved around the ice. Not one player can dominate the game, so it really stresses team play.
So true, and how better to talk about is having 2 great players there from the Magic. We've got Kennedy here. Kennedy, can you tell us a little bit about who you are?
I'm Kennedy. I'm number 14. I'm assistant captain on the Magic Ringette team. I am from Fort Garry, and this is my first year on this team, and it's been lots of fun this year. It was one of my best teams, I think.
How sweet is that? So true. And who are you?
I'm Caitlin Cherney. I'm number 81. I'm captain of the AA Magic team. I play defense, and I'm from North Kildonan area.
Well, you know what? That is pretty sweet. We got this team here is designed from, it's an all-star, I'm not going to say all-star, but elite program team from players all over. And now before we go on a little bit, Kenny, can you tell us, what's your favorite move?
I like it when where you're chasing up after a girl, and then right at the end you get the ring from her right when she's about to take the shot and so.
Awesome. Yeah. Now let's go over to Caitlin. Caitlin, I know your dad a little bit, and he was pretty aggressive in hockey. Let's hear about your favorite move.
I love going into the boards when there's a battle and, walking out with it.
That is awesome, Jill. What do you have for the girls? Like, we've got some good players here, and let's pick their brains a little bit about Ringette.
Well, let's talk. One of you is from Fort Garry, one from North Kildonan. The team's so spread out. How do you find the camaraderie and the friendship with the team? And, obviously this is first time for both of you on the team. So how do you find that experience playing with other girls from different areas and everything like that?
It's good. It's lots of fun. Our team gets really good. Like, we're really bonded together, especially over the out-of-town tournaments. Has been really good with that. Yeah.
Awesome. So, Kenny, this is your first team. Caitlin, have you been on this team before?
Yeah, this is my second year.
Second year, and you're the captain of the squad. And what do you find so much about Ringette and having so much fun about this squad?
It's very interesting because we all come from different areas, so you're able to meet up with people from different places in Winnipeg and other people that are out from the country, and it's really a lot of fun.
That is so true, Coach. I have to apologize because I'm going over to Caitlin, go gadget.
No worries.
For the mic. So, we talked about different moves and having fun in the change room now. How about when you guys go on the road? Kenny, we'll start with you. What's your favorite meal on the road?
Meal?
Yeah, meal. Like, what do you like to eat when you go? Does Coach say, no burgers and fries today? Because we like hot wings. So we're just kind of wondering what would you like?
Yeah, we have lots of wraps and sandwiches and stuff with vegetables and stuff and meat. Like
Sweet.
Chicken and stuff. Yeah.
Awesome.
Good.
Okay, Caitlin, what about you? Spaghetti, a little bit, pasta?
Oh, I like to stick with my salad and have a Gatorade in my hand 24/7.
Gerald, okay, hold on a second, Gerald. That's a better diet than you and I, buddy. Like, I'm telling you, yeah. I think maybe we should switch over to that diet. Christmas was good. Gerald, what do you have for him?
Girls, why don't you tell us what an average week for you is playing Ringette? How many times you're on the ice, where you're going, what you're doing?
Well, on every Tuesday we have a 2-hour dryland session and strategy, and then on Wednesday we have an hour and a half practice, and we have to be there an hour early for practices and games so we can do a warm-up and everything. And then we usually play at least twice on the weekends, and sometimes we would have a game or a practice during the week, depending.
That is awesome. Now, Caitlin, can you tell us a little bit about what your training routine is? Like when you go to dryland training, what do you guys do there? And then also kick into what you do on the ice.
Okay. In our dryland, we usually do almost like a CrossFit routine where it's like a cycle. So we do that for the first hour, and then for the second hour, we do a strategy talking about how we play as a team and our plays and stuff like that. And for practices, it's based on, working on our plays mixed with cardio drills like man makers and just passing. And
well, that's awesome. So any kind of when you guys go on the road, how about when you go on the road, does Coach hammer you guys with curfew?
Yeah, it depends kind of if we have an early game in the next morning, but usually our curfew is 9:30. We have to be in bed with the lights out.
9:30 in bed, that's pretty good. I know sometimes you broke curfew.
It has happened.
It has happened. And how about Caitlin, I know sometimes we coach hockey and that, we don't allow our kids to go swimming on game days or anything like that. How does your coach handle that?
The exact same, but it's only for the best because we only want to, play at our top level and really bring it home.
Well, that's pretty good. It's the same. There's no difference between hockey or ringing. An athlete's an athlete. I think, Gerald, when they tackle, elite program, you got to be part of that program. You got to buy into the program. It seems like these two girls, they're dedicated.
Absolutely, and just to show the commitment level and how important Ringette is to these girls, and how serious it is. It's as every bit serious as any other sport, whether it be soccer, hockey, basketball, volleyball, and the commitment levels there. And there's a recreational, and we're talking elite here. Not everybody's going to play elite. There's a lot of different levels for people to play here. So, girls, what was the thing that attracted to you, Ringette? Why did you get involved in Ringette?
My mom and my sister both play Ringette, so me and my other sister started playing Ringette when we were young, pretty much the lowest level you can start at. So.
Well, my dad played hockey, so I kind of wanted to carry it on, but I wasn't sure whether I wanted to play hockey or Ringette, and I didn't know anybody that played Ringette, so I wanted to try something different.
Well, that's awesome. Giving information back. When we're going to go to a break here, and we come back, we're going to talk about the big tournament that the team won, the Magic won, and the girls participated in. Coach Kelly's going to talk about. We're going to come back with the girls, get right back at it. More information for people out there about Ringette. It's all good. See you when we get back. Welcome back to the Fourth Line Hockey Show. I'm sitting here with the Coach Kelly and sitting also with the two players. We got Caitlin and Kenny here. We're going to talk a little bit about the great program that you guys, well, not program, tournament that you just came from, talking a little bit about, what happened out west. Can you give us a little bit about it, Kelly?
Absolutely. We spent most of the season gearing up for this tournament. It's the largest Ringette tournament in the world, the Esso Golden Ring tournament in Calgary, and basically pulls all the best teams in from all over the West. Alberta is a very strong Ringette province, and it's always the premier tournament that you want to go and compete and do well at. So we just came back from that and managed to pull off the gold, which was an unbelievable feat, and we're so proud of the girls.
That is awesome. I see both girls sporting the medal. That's a thank you, Gerald. The medal, sporting the medal, and that's pretty sweet. Can you give us a little bit about the tournament? How was it for you? This was big for you, first year on the team.
Yeah, it was lots of fun. I had so much fun there. We went on a plane there actually, and it was my first plane ride, so that was exciting.
I remember those days. That's awesome. Now, the veteran. Let's talk to the veteran. How was it for you?
Well, it was definitely great to be back in Calgary. We pushed really hard through this whole thing. I can say that it was definitely the hardest tournament I've ever played, but in the long run, it was definitely the most fun.
That is sweet. Coach, how many teams were there? Like they said all over, it's the biggest tournament around. So how many teams did the girls have to, how many wins did they have to get there? How was the route to the championship?
Our loop was an 8, there was two loops at our level, 4 teams in each, so 8 teams in total. We played 2 games Friday, 2 games Saturday, and did very well. We had 2 wins, a tie, and a loss by 1 to the Calgary Excel, who are our big rivals. And so we came out for the semifinal, had to play 7 a.m. on Sunday morning against another Calgary team who's known to be quite strong. And I think they underestimated us, and we came out and pulled off a big win. 7 a.m. is never easy, and came back for the gold in the afternoon and played the Calgary Excel, the team that our only loss we needed to avenge. We had lost to them in Saskatoon earlier in the year as well, and came out and just had a really dominant game. Every player played fantastic and won the gold. It was surreal.
Big shout out, Jerry, to the girls, Manitoba girls kicking some butt down west. That's pretty sweet.
Well, it certainly sounds like Manitoba has a thriving Ringette program. If we can go down to these big tournaments and place very well. Maybe Kelly, tell us a little bit about if any of our prospective viewers out there have any girls that they want to get involved in Ringette, how they could go about that.
Absolutely, Manitoba actually helped pilot a project called Come Try Ringette, and with Alberta, and now it's a national program. You can log on to their website, cometryringette.ca, and select your province, and it'll tell you when there's free events that kids can come out. Even if you've never skated before, kids can come out and try the sport. They often have veterans like these girls out helping out and showing the girls the ropes. Lots of information for parents as well there, and really neat events for kids to come out and kind of get a taste for it.
That is awesome. Now, Kelly, do the kids start off like Tibbetts hockey? Like, do they have like Tibbet Ringette kind of deal?
Yeah, they have Timbits Ringette for the youngest kids, and they start off like that. They play, the coaches are on the ice helping out and everything, and then as you get older, it progresses very similar to hockey in that regard.
How good is that? Right from, it doesn't matter what sport like we always talk about, but being on the ice, again, part of the team camaraderie stuff is huge, and the girls winning the championship, that's big. Now, can we get Kenny? Can you tell us a little bit what your favorite part of that road trip, other than the plane ride?
I think it was winning the gold. Like the last game was probably my favorite part because it was just so much. It was so exciting the whole time, and then at the end when we figured out that we had just won the gold, it was, probably my best part.
Sweet. Now, Caitlin, how about yourself?
Before all the games, I'd say our warm-up was the best because it was really high energy. Everyone was excited to go, and it was just a loud, really pumping time.
Lots of energy, lots of things going on. Now, Caitlin, how was your parents on the road trip? And we're going to get to you too, Kenny, on that. How was your mom and dad or whoever went down? Were they pretty excited for you?
Yeah, they were really excited, and they definitely behaved, so that was good.
You know what? Times have changed for Mr. Choney behaving on the road a little bit. Hey, well, what? How about yourself, Kenny? What about your parents? Was it a lot of fun for them?
Yeah, they were excited, and they took videos and stuff so we can still watch it over again.
And it's always great to hear that the coach behaved, right, Coach?
Yeah, absolutely. Coach always behaves.
Exactly, Gerald. Now, I just got to say one thing. You haven't commented on my new haircut.
Well, it does look pretty good. Tell me a little bit about it, Willie.
Well, I just want to say, Vince from Fluid Hair Design cut my hair, and that is Kennedy's dad who takes care of the old style for the Plouffe. He made it look good. Like, it's looking good today.
What do you think, Kennedy? How's it look?
It looks pretty good.
Perfect.
Yeah.
That's a great answer. That's a great answer. So let's go for a little bit before you guys went on the road trip. How was it, Caitlin, when you guys are getting ready, geared up and getting on the plane? Was it pretty exciting?
Oh yeah, definitely. Everyone in the airport, it was definitely a non-stop topic, like throughout the whole season leading up to it, because we've been training so hard for this one tournament just to, bring it home.
Sweet. Now, Coach, you focused on you got a whole season going on here, and this is just a tip of it. Playoffs are coming. You got to get ready for that. Provincials. You know what? Getting ready for the tournament, was it pretty hard getting the girls focused?
We have an amazing group for 12 and 13-year-olds. These kids are so mature and so dedicated to their sport. They didn't mention, but on top of the stuff that we do during the week, they do 2 at-home workouts a week as well. It's very rare that they have a day off during the week where they don't have ringette going on. So they really pushed hard for it. Coaches definitely pushed hard for it. We really, tried hard to gear them towards it and prepare them as best we can. We prepare a full itinerary for them going in, and they followed it to a T. There was no need to say, oh, don't eat that, or oh, it's curfew time. They're all so dedicated, and they really want to win, and they're really looking forward to provincials starting not this weekend but the weekend after.
Well, you, Willie, I heard your pizza delivery call just came through here. You're not.
I don't know what's going on. The phones are going off. The best thing about being on a roll, it's great. People around here.
That was your cell phone.
Was it my cell phone again?
Oh.
Pepperoni cheese all the way, top shelf. Before we break off again and close up this segment and come back and we'll shut it down to conclusion, we just got to go a little bit about now. In the Magic program, if one of the kids want to become a Magic player, where do they go? Is there tryouts on the website, or where do we find how to become a Magic player?
Yeah, if you go on the Manitoba Ringette website, there's definitely links to that as well. The Magic Ringette has a website as well. If you Google search Magic Ringette, there's a website talking about the program. The Magic program has had such success this year. All 3 teams have brought home a gold from an out-of-town tournament. Some team, I think the U19 has actually brought home 2 this year. So we're double gold medalists as well. We won a preseason tournament. So it's a very strong program this year, and a really great idea for kids to get involved.
Awesome. We're going to break. We're going to break off, and I want to first of all, before we go, I want to thank Kelly Sims, coach of Magic, coming out. 2 players, Candy and Caitlin, for coming out, sharing their thoughts, their feelings, and about their championship tournament they won. We want to thank the Fourth Line Hockey Show. I want to say thanks. Great job coming out, guys. Thanks, Coach. Thanks, Young Bucks. Thanks for coming out. Great job. We're going to break off for now. The Ice Traders quote of the day. What is that, Gerald?
The quote of the day?
Yes, give us some.
Great. It's all about great hair. No, I'm just joking. No, Wayne Gretzky's quote, everyone's heard it. You miss 100% of the shots you never take.
So true as that. That's why I never missed a net, because I scored a lot. We're going to break off. Be right back at you.
You don't need a media monkey to make healthy choices. Think for yourself. A message from Concerned Children's Advertisers.
Welcome back to the Fourth Line Hockey Show. We had a great show today, Jill, talking about, the Magic Ringette team. Magic Ringette team is pretty sweet.
Yeah, whether you're 5 years old or like my wife, a little older than 5 years old, Ringette is a full-time sport, full age categories. I think it's a great thing for girls. A nice alternative to hockey. Maybe hockey's not your thing. Ringette's a solid alternative, for sure. Maybe a first choice. I'm not trying to downplay it at all. It's a cool sport.
Yeah, Coach Kelly covered, it's an intense program. They need to be on the proper nutrition. They need to be working out also. They do the exact same things. They are athletes. There's no difference. It's just getting at it and getting hard and being dedicated and team camaraderie.
Absolutely. Now back to hockey. So next episode we're going to talk about spring hockey and summer hockey. And there was a recent article in the Winnipeg Free Press. I think it was very well done. And as an owner of a hockey store, I can definitely talk about the expense of hockey. And they talk about $300 hockey sticks and all that other stuff. And not every hockey stick's $300, but let's talk about spring hockey and what it is, and the unregulated nature of it, and how you get involved in. Is it important to get involved in? How well-rounded are children who get involved in? Is hockey a 12 month a year sport? And how good, all these questions, I have these questions as a hockey parent. You have them as a hockey parent. What's right? What's wrong? So we're working on some hard-hitting guests that we want to get in to talk about it. And how important it is, and the confusion around it is crazy.
The opinions expressed on the program you have just watched are not necessarily those of Shaw Cable Systems or of this station. Through our access policy, we provide the opportunity for community groups and individuals to express their points of view.